73-year-old Christian grandfather Nazir Gil Massi from Sargodha in Pakistan died after a mob attempted to lynch him after he was accused of blasphemy. The violence triggered a mass exodus of Christians from the neighborhood. Just a few months earlier, many more Pakistani Christians fled their homes after a mob of militants struck in Jaranwala district, torching more than 25 churches in a single day. Some of the incidents recorded in a new report by Catholic charity Aid to the Church in Need called Persecuted and Forgotten, a report on Christians oppressed for their faith. Persecuted and Forgotten assesses the situation in 18 countries where religious freedom violations against Christians are of particular concern. Covering the period from August 2022 to June 2024, Persecuted and Forgotten discovered that in many of the countries surveyed, human rights violations against Christians had increased since the last report. Findings included the following. The epicenter of militant Islamist violence has shifted from the Middle East to Africa. Militant Islam was a key factor in explaining why Africa was the only continent where persecution increased in all the countries reviewed, with evidence suggesting the growing reach of transnational jihadi groups. In Burkina Faso and Mozambique, ongoing Islamist insurgencies have led to a mass displacement of Christian communities as extremists specifically targeted believers in both countries. Nigeria ranked 8th in the 2024 Global Terrorism Index as militant Fulani insurgents linked to extremist groups regularly committed massacres and other violent atrocities. Intensified targeting of Christians as enemies of the state or the local community. Authoritarian regimes ramped up repressive measures against Christians. China repeatedly detained Bishop Peter Zhao Zhumin of Wenzhou between mid-December 2023 and early January 2024. Nicaragua implemented a range of extreme oppressive measures targeting Christians, notably the mass expulsion of Catholic clergy. Conversely, Vietnam, despite ongoing problems, took steps to re-establish diplomatic ties with the Vatican and reduce the red tape stopping religious groups registering. State and non-state actors increasingly weaponized existing and new legislation, criminalizing acts deemed disrespectful to the state religion as a means of oppressing Christians and other minority religious groups. In just one state in India, 855 people were reportedly detained in less than 3 years under so-called anti-conversion laws. Reports highlighted the threat to Christian children, especially girls. Christian girls as young as 10 suffered abduction, sexual violence, forced marriage, and forced conversion in countries such as Egypt. UN experts expressed concerns about growing numbers of girls being taken from minority religious communities in Pakistan. In schools, a culture of discrimination was reported with students banned from marking Christian feasts in Turkey, and hate material against Christians and other religious minorities remaining in school textbooks in a number of countries. Defenseless, frequently ignored, and living as a minority in hostile environments, the future can look bleak for many Christians. But Aid to the Church in Need's Persecuted and Forgotten report shines a light on their suffering and brings it to the attention of the world. This report is not just a litany of woes, but an appeal for justice for those who are suffering. It is a call to take action to help those whose only crime is the faith they profess. Let us do everything we can to ensure that the world's persecuted Christians are not forgotten.